Hello and good afternoon to everybody.
Hi everybody.
Today we are going to write an interpreter for JSON files using Nearley.js.
Bro, what is the Nearley.js?
Nearley.js is a tool to get an abstract syntax tree from your text. For example, you have this number over here. It doesn't understand, like, what is this? Is this a statement? Is this a string? Is this a number or a function? So Nearly.js helps you to determine whether it's part of the process, it's a variable declaration, or anything like that. So,
I got it.
yeah.
You can create your language, for example, yeah?
Yeah, you can. I will have a language created using Nearly.js down in the description. Take a look. You'll be really amazed at what this tool can do. So, I usually start declaring my statements and everything else using the process, because everything that this takes is a whole process and you really need to declare something. For example, for more readability, let's state that this underscore is gonna be a white space. So basically we have a space and we have /t, and we can write this construction. Basically it's very similar to what we know to be as regular expressions. Inside of our brackets we have a space token and \t token, which is for tubs. And this one represents the same as star in regular expressions. It means either 0 or more repetitions of this token. So right now, if I remove this, hop, we have a working interpreter. It understands white space. It understands nothing, but it doesn't understand line breaks. Let's fix that. Now we can have as many line breaks and as many white space as possible. I actually deleted the test itself. So over here, as you can see, we have a lot of arrays. Why? Because this one over here, the process itself, this statement, returns an array. This one returns an array, and this one returns an array as well. So we can use this construction, and inside of this construction we can write regular JavaScript code, which either takes a callback function. For example, we can write an arrow function and we can return the v0. So if it was an array, we just return the first element of the array, so we are only left with 2 arrays. Or we have a built-in method id, which will do the same thing, just much quicker. So for this one, we can do the same thing, and we are left with a single array. So we can also, of course, escape this one as well. We are going to do exactly that. So if our v0 exists, then we are going to return v0. Otherwise, we will just return an empty array. So here we have a lot of space, a lot of stuff. If we have v0, we can basically join it, turn it into a single space token, and this is gonna be just an empty string. So now, what if we want more than just white space? Don't you agree that having something more is really much more interesting? Let's have a statements block over here. What can a statement be? Actually, let's just have a statement. So a statement can be a number, for example. Number. We don't have it yet. And over here we already have statement as our second element of the array, so we will need to return the v1. Okay, what do you think? How can we implement an array, or implement a number over here?
Number, use number.
So we can use regular expressions, right? Like over here. From 0 to 9. Basically, we got a number. We can do... but this isn't just an integer. We also want to have like more numbers and stuff over here. What we can do is we can create an integer token over here, create an integers token, so it's gonna be integers and int over here. Basically what we just did is we call the left side recursion. So it calls itself, it looks what it can be, it sees that it can be either a lot of digits or it can be just one digit, like over here. And if it has something more than this, then it calls int, and then it does the same thing again until it hits the point where we no longer have any more digits. Over here what we can do, we just return the ID. Here we do a little differently. We have v0 plus v1. Why? This is our v0 and this is our v1 of the array. And this one just returns the ID, nothing else. Here we return the ID as well. Now we have a working interpreter of numbers, but it doesn't really understand the white space, does it? Why? Let's see. Okay, our process accepts white space, and the white space is I don't know. Okay, maybe we just return nothing. We don't really care about the white space over here, do we? Let's check out what's going on. Okay, we have statement. Statement works. What about here? Yeah, this one works. Ah. Yeah, this makes sense. So we can have a statement, or we can basically have nothing over here. If v0, then if we have this is conditional, so it's either an array or null. If we have it, then we return the first element of it. Otherwise, we don't return anything. So like this, it's nothing, and like this, we have numbers. Okay, good. What if we... Sorry?
It's really good.
Yeah. What if we want to have numbers like 3.14? we can use floats.
Maybe.
Okay.
Float. It's an int.
Yeah.
Plus dot use int.
Yeah. Okay. Float. It's an int dot int, and that is absolutely correct. What we do over here, can you guess?
0 element and first element.
Yeah, plus, but the first element, if this is 0, then this is gonna be the first.
The second. Yes.
Yeah, so we take the dot and we do the v2.
Second.
We close up this one, we add the float into our numbers, and it should have worked. It didn't. Yeah, this is the thing. Okay, we do ints, not int, and hooray, we got an interpreter of numbers, no matter what kind of number it is. Okay, good. What else can we do? We can create null, of course, because JSON interpreter also accepts null as a value. So in our statements, we will declare my null. We cannot just declare null by itself because Nearley.js uses null as an interpretation of nothing. So this one will work much better. So we declare my null, and its value is gonna be the word null itself. I don't think we will, no, we will still need to get the ID. And here we go. We have...
It's right for negative numbers?
We don't have the negative numbers yet, but right, let's add it. So it's gonna be number minus, we can have some white space over here, optional, and the number itself. So -3 will work great. Now what we need to do is we take our array and we return what?
0 element? No, first element.
First, why?
Because the first is
we know it's always minus. Over here we can even return null. Yeah, we always know it's a minus sign, so we can basically skip it maybe and get this one with the minus sign. So it's minus
v0.
This is the v0.
The first.
This is the first. And this is v2. Here we go. We got -3.14. Good. Null also works. Actually, no, let's return the ID. I was wrong. I admit. Okay. We also can have an array. So, array, and it's gonna be, we're gonna create the array here. An array is basically, it can be either an empty array, and this will return just an empty array. So hop, yeah, we got empty array. Nice. What if we want to add some numbers inside? So for example, 0, 1, 1, 2. What about it? We can do it the same way as we did before. So we have an array. We can have over here optional white space or whatever we want. Yeah. And here we can have a statement. Statement is number, null, and an array itself. So an array can also have another array inside of itself. So statement, we have white space again, and now we need a condition. Again, conditions with question mark. If we have more of those, or we can do not condition but repetition, 0 or more. So we can have a comma and statement again, as many as possible. Over here again, white space, and we close the array. We have our result. It's kind of messy right now, but we are going to fix it at this moment. We can use the another feature of Nearley.js, that is declaring your functions somewhere else. Extract array. So it's gonna call the extract array function. We can declare it somewhere over here. For that, we need to open this kind of construction and function extract array, which takes the array, and it will return the value of that array. Return, actually let output equals to an array. So for let e equals 0, e less than array length I plus plus. Here we can push into the output push the array I, and at the end we return the output. Let's see what we have. We have the same thing, except from now this symbol and this symbol are also the items of the array. So what can we do instead? We know that if this function is called, then the first element of the array and the second element of the array are always the same. It's a left bracket and white space. So we can skip it. Now we have the first element right here, and then we have the rest of the elements. Or we can simply put this over here inside of this one, and now we have much cleaner picture. What this does, this one we can do -1, so we don't have the last bracket, and we also can skip the white space, -2. Here we have the first element that we can instantly push into the array. So it's gonna be array 0, array 2, because we started from the second element. We skip this one. So array 3 length, I missed something. Yeah, what I mean is we get an array, and this is the third element of the array. So it's the bracket, white space, this number over here, and then this one. So we only work with that array. We take off this, we pass through that, and we get 0, I, and nothing. And over here we change to array 3. Now we have even more clear picture. We have the comma that we do not need, we have 2 white spaces, and we have the number as the third element of the array. So what we can do here, we take the third element of the array, boom, we got it. What we can also do, instead of returning a string for numbers, we can return the number representation of that thing. For example, with minus, you can clearly see that we return a number, not a string. Let's do the same thing with those. So over here we turn it into plus v0. It will always turn into a number. Okay, great. Now let's try if we can work with more inner arrays. As you can see, it instantly works. It doesn't need anything too complicated, too crazy. It can contain as many layers of arrays as you can imagine. Okay, now we have null. We can also change over here to return a real null, not a string. Where is my null? We will return null. Okay, we have null, we have numbers, we have arrays. What if we need, for example, to create a string? Everybody needs strings, right? Especially JSON.
Yes.
So in JSON, as you can guess, the strings are with double quotes only. You cannot use single quoted strings, unfortunately. It's a feature of the language, not a bug. Yeah. So what do you think in this case we need to do?
All characters, numbers, and it's enough.
Yeah, it's enough, but over here you can use any crazy symbols, anything else.
And symbols, yeah.
Yeah, but you can also use, for example, \t, and this also needs to work. So what if we put this thing? What does this do? What do you think about it?
I don't know.
The same way with brackets, this will just return an empty string. Imagine this as a nearly structure, and this is an escaped quote. This is an escaped quote as well. So if I remove all this crap over here, we are gonna get a quote, quotation mark, and another quotation mark. So it's an empty string, and inside we can match every single possible thing except this one represents escape character. Escape, like do not match whatever I write inside of the brackets. We do not want to match the quote. So, for example, this is no longer a quote. If I escape it, it should work, but we are gonna fix this in a second. This will work. Now every single thing, even multi-line stuff, are working. Okay, it doesn't work anymore. Okay, it decided to work. And we don't want to work with multi-line strings because JSON doesn't support it. We don't support it as well. So we have every single character of this array, of this string, as an array. What we can do, we can take this array. We will only return the v0, v1, and we are going to use the method join. But we also need to check if this exists. It is an array. Good. So it always will return an array. Let's do it this way. Join. So for example, if we write something here, boom, we have our string working. How to work with the string character. This is a little more complicated than it can seem. We will need to write an escape. And it's either this or that. So here we will repeat this one, and if we put backslash, it still doesn't work. Yeah, it usually happens when you decide to make things more complicated than you need to. This works. This doesn't work. Nothing works anymore. Okay, let's remove this for a second. Let's see if single quotes work. Yeah, it works. You know what? Let's skip this for now. Let's just concentrate on finishing everything up, and then we will fix whatever is left at the end. So now our parser can also understand arrays with strings inside. Good? Good. What else do we need for making good quality grammar? Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe it's today now.
Maybe objects also. Yeah, objects are pretty useful. Object, it will return ID over here. We don't have object, but we now have a very, very similar thing to the objects, arrays.
Yes, right.
What's the difference between an array and object?
Brackets.
Yeah. Objects can be declared not with braces but brackets. And we do not just accept statements over here 1, 2, 3, but instead we use keys
Keyword.
and values. And in inside of the JSON, we always write the key using quotes. So we are gonna keep that that way. We don't need anything extra complicated. So we'll have the key value, comma, we'll have the key 1, and for example we'll have the value 1. We will have array, and its value can be an array with values 1, 0, 2. Okay, but right now our program doesn't understand that. It understands that the object, like an array, it takes a statement as its value. But let's create a pair. Pair is a key separated by a colon, separated by white space in between, and the value. As we already know, the value can be a statement, or we can change the name of this to value. Maybe that's what we're gonna do. Value. Here we go. So this is gonna return an array with can you guess? What do we need from here?
Quotes. 2 quotes for case.
Quotes?
Quotes. Yeah.
Yeah, we need a code, but we are gonna create it later. So from this array.
The 0 element.
Nice. And
the second element.
Okay, this is the
second is
0, 1, 2,
2,
3, and 4.
Oh, yeah.
Fourth. Nice. Okay. So here, instead of having a value by itself, we are going to have a pair. And let's create the key. Key by itself can be only a string. So right now we probably have everything created, but our program doesn't want to run. Why? Probably because
between quotes.
Probably because we need to remove. We change this one to array and we remove this. The string by itself is already inside of quotes, so probably there is something over here going on. Let's see why. Let's open up the developer tools. Maybe we have something over here. Okay, it always tells you the errors. Let's do this. Unexpected token. Where is the unexpected token that I've set? I'm not sure what unexpected token it is talking about, but let's try this. Okay, I think we have a problem somewhere else, not inside of the grammar. The grammar seems fine to me, but we have made an error, a mistake in the Oh yeah, here I forgot closing bracket. Okay, we have null. Why do we have, yeah, we need to wrap it up into the parentheses so the program doesn't think it's the scope of the object. Let's do this. Array, we are gonna have an array, comma, key, I mean string, the value is gonna be value as a string. I'm too creative. Number, actually let's do pi, 3.14, and we don't forget the comma over here. Good, we have everything that we needed. What do we need to do now? We have the prototype of the extract array function. We can copy and paste this one, change the name to extract object, and here we copy this function, we change the name to extract object, and that will work the same way as the previous one, except now we need to save the key and values. So this is the key and this empty array is the value. You can see it when I add more values into the object. So key, array, and the value 0, 1, 2, like over here. Our final result is an array. We don't need that, but we are gonna fix it in just a second. So the output will be an object, output array 0, array 2, 0 equals to array 2, 1. Let's remove the rest for now. So it's an object with the key array and the value of the array. Good. Now we need to pass through the rest of the objects and we need to extract the value of it. So for example, over here, let's see if this one will run. Yeah, it will run. So we have the third element. We will probably run a debugger over here. It doesn't run a debugger. It actually, yeah, it does. Possible infinite loop. Okay, running a debugger is not the best idea. Console log, we are going to console array 3i. And we are not gonna push anything yet. What do we have here? Okay, so this is our array, and the third element is the key value pair. Okay, good. So in our case, the key equals to array 3i, 3, and 0. Yeah, this is too much of insertions, isn't it? Let value equals the same thing, 3, but this time we get the 0 element. So the output key equals to the value. And voila, we have everything working as it was planned. So right now you can clearly say that you have created the Nearly using Nearly parser, you have created a JSON interpreter that will understand everything. It will ignore all the white space, and you can also like create variables, comments, and everything else over here. Your object can also include another object. For example, oh yeah, we didn't create the booleans. Boolean. That's the last thing that we are going to do for today, and then I will answer the questions if there are any. True. This will return true. False. And this will return false likewise. So we have an object over here, sub object, subscribe, true. Good if you did it, I appreciate it. Okay, after all this is really not too much of information. Of course it takes time to process, but it's pretty fun to make it. Do you have any questions?
No.
Yeah, it was pretty easy because Nearly.js really simplifies everything. Don't you think so?
Yeah, I think.
Okay, so we are going to wrap this recording up. Thank you for watching.